Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I will have guests on talking about the upcoming Alzheimer's Walk for 2016. So stay tuned for those guests coming up in just a moment. Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have the chairman of the Alzheimer's Walk 2016, Lindsay Richard. She's the walk director. The chairman, the walk director for the 2016 Alzheimer. Lindsay, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, this is something I think that is kind of prevalent in our community, in our society, and the Alzheimer's Society of Georgia and other states are looking for a cure for that. Before we get into talking about this, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, my name is Lindsay Richard. This is my second year coordinating the Walk to End Alzheimer's for LaGrange, and we're excited to be here again.
Oh, okay. Your second year being, so you're not from LaGrange originally, I understand.
Well, I mean, I live in Columbus, so I'm right down the road.
Right down the road,
yeah.
All right. So you're a neighbor to outside.
Yeah, I am.
And I understand that you're also organizing this not only here in LaGrange, but Columbus and Albany as well.
I do 3 walks for the Alzheimer's Association.
Okay, all right, well, very good. And I'm going to I have another guest to come on and we'll talk a little bit more about the cures and things of that nature and what is Alzheimer's. I want you and I just going to talk a little bit about some facts about it and things of that nature.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about some facts about Alzheimer's.
Okay, well, Alzheimer's disease, this is a good fact. Every year it kills more Americans than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. I remember when I interviewed for this position, David Houston, who interviewed me in Atlanta, said, you know, the Cancer Society can parade around survivors at their walks and say, look what we did, look what we raised money for. Well, we can't do that, and we want to be able to do that. We want to find a cure for this disease. We don't have any survivors right now. Right now, it's 100%, you know, you're not going to survive this disease. So. And we want to find a cure, and that's what we're walking for. Absolutely.
You know, you're talking about a fact. That's one of those that, you know, we definitely want to try to find a cure for.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to have, like I stated a moment ago, I'm going to have another guest to kind of talk about some of the early signs of it.
Right.
Let me ask you now, anytime someone gets involved in a cause like this, normally they have been impacted by it, and we know that's not your case, or they have a family members that have been touched by it. Talk a little bit about why you're involved with this.
Okay, well, in 2000, I think it was probably about 2008, I had a grandfather who was a Marine. This big, huge Marine, you know, was healthy, did everything he could to stay healthy, ran every day. He was a high school principal in Columbus at Hardaway High School.
Okay.
He had a stroke and developed dementia. And I saw what dementia can do to this powerful man, and it broke my heart. And so that's why working for the Alzheimer's Association is very close to me.
Absolutely. You know, very worthwhile cause here in our community. And I guess, you know, fortunately, I don't have anyone in my family that suffered for that. And, and again, you know, we would hope and pray that we can find a cure for with it having such fatal outcome.
It does.
Absolutely.
And right now, over 5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease. I mean, it's a huge impact on the United States. I mean, we're trying hard to help with that cure.
When you think about 5 million Americans, and I don't know, and again, I'll have someone else to talk about some of the early symptoms. And I want to just go back to you and say your grandfather.
Yes.
Can you kind of tell? Could you identify anything that may have been going differently wrong with him?
It is disorientation, not knowing. One of the things we say at the Alzheimer's Association is one of the first signs is not forgetting where you put your keys. I lose my keys every day. It's forgetting what your keys are for, that they are actually used to unlock a door. You don't know what to do with the keys, and that's one of the first, early signs.
That you, that you notice.
Yes.
And you know, and like you say, sometimes we put things down and we forget about it every day, but just to know what its function is.
Exactly. They forget. You forget. I mean, it's little signs like that that start showing up here and there.
Oh, my Lord. Okay. And you know, you all are here in the community, you're organizing the Columbus area, the Albany, and I think you've been around to all 3 of these recently, correct?
I was in Albany yesterday.
In Albany yesterday, yes. and I guess you'll be in Columbus.
I'm always in Columbus.
Always there in Columbus, getting things organized.
Yeah.
Now, and we're going to talk about when the race, when the walk is actually going to take place in a few moments. But I know that anytime you're doing something for a cause, you have to have a goal.
Absolutely.
What is your goal for this year?
In LaGrange, we hope to reach $40,000 this year. Say One America has been wonderful. They are our presenting sponsor this year.
Okay.
They are, helping us reach the goal. We have Vernon Woods Retirement Community. That's where we have all of our meetings. They're so accommodating, and they're one of the highest fundraising teams that we have for the walk. They're wonderful. LaGrange is a wonderful community, and so gracious to our walk.
Okay.
So.
Well, very good.
Yes.
And let's talk about the walk itself.
Okay.
Where's that going to be held?
Okay, it's Saturday, September 17th, 2016, at Vernon Woods Retirement Community, and the walk is not timed. It's not it's not one of those races that you have to be the first one in. It's a symbolic walk.
Okay.
To walk in memory or in honor of people who have suffered from this disease. It also honors the caregivers, because they're the main ones suffering. They're the main ones that don't get any sleep, that don't get any respite. Like we try to help them as much as we can too.
Absolutely.
So,
anytime you think about that, when you just said don't get any rest, don't get any sleep,
don't.
because they're caring for the individual pretty much 24/7.
Right, they're the heroes in this whole situation, and they're we try to help them. The Alzheimer's Association focuses on them as much as we do the actual patient.
Okay.
Because they need help too.
Absolutely. Now the walk is going to be Saturday, September the 17th at Vernon Wood. Is there a charge for people getting involved?
No charge. It is absolutely free to walk. We are a nonprofit, and we do want to raise money to help find a cure for this awful disease. But if you want to just come and walk, we would love you to do that too.
Okay. And do you have your route laid out yet?
We
So
do.
5K,
It goes
3K?
in the beautiful community that surrounds Vernon Woods. It's beautiful. There's a pond. There's ducks out there. It's a beautiful walk in LaGrange.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. And I think most of the viewing audience perhaps know where Vernon Woods is located. That is a beautiful campus in the area.
Yes, it
is. And sponsors, you can't do all this alone. Sometimes you have to get sponsors to help out. Is there a sponsor, or if someone was wanting to get involved as a sponsor, how can they do that?
They can contact me. Do you want me to tell them my phone number?
Yes, by all means. Yes.
They can call me. We need more sponsors. We always need more sponsors at 706-587-5463.
Okay.
Or they can email me at lrichard@alz.org.
Okay, well, very good. So that's for those. Now, if someone also, I think you have a website that they can go to as well?
That they can sign up to walk.
Okay.
And it's georgiawalk.org. It's plain and simple, georgiawalk.org. You spell out Georgia.
Okay.
.org.
All right, well, very good. Now, as far as sponsors, I want to go back to that just for a moment. If someone was listening, if it was an organization that was listening and they want to be a sponsor and have people to come and walk in the walk as well, they can call you or contact by one of those means?
Absolutely, just call me. The sponsorship information is listed on the georgiawalk.org.
Okay.
To be a sponsor, you can have a exhibit at the walk and exhibit your company. There's all different levels of sponsorships that can fit the small business, and we can accommodate the large business as well. We can put your logo on the back of our t-shirts.
Okay.
Because everybody that raises at least $200 gets a t-shirt.
Oh my, okay, and this is a t-shirt that you're
this is
wearing?
A 2014 t-shirt, just an example.
Okay, all right. Have they designed the one for 16 yet?
Yes, but they haven't unveiled it yet.
Oh, okay, so that's the secret.
Yeah, that is.
All right, very good. So go to the website. There's different sponsorships levels.
There is.
That people can get involved with as far as helping, because it's a nonprofit. And of course, I always like to ask the question, and I already know the answer, the proceeds. What would the proceeds be used for?
The proceeds go to the Alzheimer's Association, and it goes for care, support, and research. Care for the actual patient, and getting them the accommodations that they need while they're suffering from Alzheimer's. Okay. Support, and what we mean by support is supporting the caregiver. Like I talked about earlier, they need a lot of help too. And then research to find a cure for the disease. So, we like to say at the Alzheimer's Association that we would like to eventually put ourselves out of business, so we don't need to raise money anymore because of the cure. Right. So that's what we would like. Okay,
well, very good. Well, Lindsay, if you don't mind, as we get ready to wrap up, tell them that walk date one more time.
Okay, it's September 17th, Saturday at Vernon Woods. Registration starts at 8 o'clock. The ceremony starts at 8:30, and the walk starts at 9 o'clock. And to register, you go to georgiawalk.org.
Okay, well, very good. And also make sure anybody who was interested in being a sponsor, go out to the website.
Yep.
And by all means, let's put an end to Alzheimer's.
I would love it.
Absolutely. Well, Liz, I want to thank you for coming on the show today and
Thank you.
sharing this information. I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to have Josh O'Neill to come on and talk a little bit about some of the, talk about this a little bit more and some of the other things that they have coming up with West Georgia Health. WellStar. I got to get that in.
Yes.
WellStar. All right.
Yeah, WellStar.
Thank you very much, Liz, for being here today.
Okay. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back, City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm being joined by Josh O'Neill from WellStar, an accounting executive. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you. Josh, it's been a while since you and I got an opportunity to sit down and talk about something that our last guest, Lindsay Richard, was just talking about. I know that you came on a couple years ago, I think it has been now.
Yeah. Have you missed me?
I did miss you,
Yeah,
Josh. Absolutely. I think you've changed jobs on me, I think, since the last time, or at least the company that you worked for. It is now WellStar, where it used to be West Georgia Health, and I got to kind of get that out of my system a little bit. Josh, tell us a little bit about your role, if you don't mind.
Okay. I'm the account executive for WellStar West Georgia Health, our continuing care department.
Okay.
I almost forgot what I did for a second. So my job is, it's a sales and marketing role. So I go into the doctor's offices, rehab facilities, nursing homes, other hospitals, and ask them for home health and hospice referrals.
Okay.
Because there's a ton of competition in the home health and hospice arena. So we need a rep, that's me, to go out and kind of be our voice for what we do that's so awesome in LaGrange.
Absolutely.
And we cover Troop, Harris, Heard, and Meriwether County. So a lot of people don't know that, and that's why I try to spread the word, go out and spread the word about those services.
Very good. Josh, you said something to ask you a question. I don't know if you'll be able to respond to this, but you talked about there's a ton of home health care in our communities and stuff. Talk about regulations of those a little bit, because I know that, like in your case, you guys are regulated to a very, very high standard. How do you think, or in your opinion, the regulations among others there?
So, meaning what are our regs as far as Medicare? Medicare is the one that kind of tells us what we need to do and how we need to do it. And so there's basically two things that we look for when we're getting a home health patient. And that is there needs to be a clinical reason. Whether it be nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, there has to be something that we can do that's clinical. Education, medication management, IV services, and then physical therapy, strength and conditioning, different things like that. But we can't just go out just for helping patients take a bath or toileting, anything like that. It has to be a clinical reason. And then the patient has to be homebound. And that's kind of a strange word to use, but patients they think of homebound, they hear bedbound. They don't have to be bedbound. They can still go to church, still go, Medicare lays out there that you can still go to the hair salon, go to church, to go to weddings, funerals, things like that. It just needs to be few and far between whenever they go. So if you can go outpatient for a service, then you may not need home health. So.
All right, well, very good. And the reason why I ask that question, because a lot of times I see in our community, just like individual homes, they pop up saying they're going to be a personal care, and I know that the regulations have to be real, real strict for when you're talking about administering medicine to somebody else, or shots or various other things that they do in those personal care facilities. Well, very good. Thank you for that. I want to now jump into kind of finishing up. When Lindsay was here a moment ago, we were talking about Alzheimer's and got the walk that's coming up on Saturday, September the 17th. And she mentioned about her grandfather having, been a recipient of it and perhaps expiring from that. She talked a little bit about some of the early symptoms that she noticed in her grandfather. Talk a little bit about that for us, if you don't mind, Josh. Early symptoms, and she mentioned dementia and Alzheimer's. Kind of help us understand the difference in the two, if you don't mind. I know it's a loaded question. Sorry about that.
So Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia. And dementia is that I read a stat that 60 to 80% of dementia cases have Alzheimer's. So it's just a form of dementia. And dementia is problems in memory, thinking, and behaviors. that's slowly progressive. So some of the early warning signs, what ALZ.org, the Alzheimer's Association website, what they list as the top 10 warning signs. Memory, and this is, if you have one of these, it's not to say that you have Alzheimer's and go to your neurologist and get checked.
Okay.
It's just some of the things, kind of put together that you see that may be a sign. Because all of us throughout the day, if we don't have breakfast, we may, have something kind of similar to some of these. And so, people freak out thinking like, I need to get to the doctor and stuff. But it's a number of these issues.
So relax is what you tell us to do.
Yes, that's
right.
Okay,
relax
that's right.
a little bit there. Huh?
Memory loss that disrupts daily life.
Okay.
Challenges in planning or problem solving. Difficulty completing familiar tasks at home, at work, or at leisure. Okay. Confusion with time or place. Trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. New problems with words and speaking or writing. Misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace steps. That would be one of the things that I
absolutely
heard.
Yep.
Decreased or poor judgment. Withdrawal from work or social activities. And changes in mood and personality. And that would definitely, my wife would probably say that I fall into that
category.
She's 8.5 months pregnant, so she'd probably fall into that too.
Oh my goodness. So. Okay, yeah, absolutely. So we better be careful then. We won't. That's right.
I won't let her watch this.
That's it. That's right. Well, in any of those, I'm sure some of us at some point or another, as you stated, perhaps if we don't have a breakfast or put something on our stomach, hadn't eaten in a long period of time, could probably suffer from any of those. Correct?
Right.
And so it's not for us to be alarmed, but I guess in a combination of any of those 10 being the most common, if there's a combination of those, then we might want to try to seek medical profession, I guess.
Right. And I mean, you really have to think of how serious it is with Pat Summitt? Is that right? Pat Summitt, the Tennessee head coach, the women's Vols head coach. I think she was diagnosed at like 58 and just passed away here recently at 60, 64, 65. Right. I mean, it is, something that 33, if I have one of those symptoms, then I'm hopefully not worrying about it. Right. But I mean, there are cases where, 30-something-year-olds have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Okay. So, they're just finding out a lot more as people live longer lives. It's becoming a lot more prevalent in our society. And so it's becoming earlier,
Well, absolutely.
And especially with more education.
That's right.
With the doctors understand how to see it, what to look for in those symptoms, and they're able to diagnose it sooner than they were before, 20 years ago.
Absolutely. And as Lindsay stated, we definitely want to find a cure for this fatal disease right now, from what I understand from statistics, that there is no cure for it, unlike the other diseases that we do have in our society. So, we thank WellStar, and I know that you all are sponsored this year for the walk. Talk about that as being a sponsor and things like that, if you don't mind.
This is my 5th year of, I think, 4th year of co-chair of the walk.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. We have a great time out there.
Okay.
And it starts about 8 o'clock. People start coming in.
Okay.
And we figured out a pretty good system of busing people over from ECCC, which is at the hospital, Enid Callaway Cancer Center. We bus people using Vernon Woods bus, Florence Hand Home buses, whoever's got buses. We can we use them to send people over so that they don't have to park at Vernon Woods. We definitely don't want to mess up the residents' parking situation at Vernon Woods. We don't want to bombard them with a bunch of cars. So we bus people over, and we have music playing. Chick-fil-A's donated biscuits every year for 3 years now, and so we're selling biscuits. If people want to pay a couple bucks for a biscuit, they can. If they just want a biscuit, they can get it. But it's awesome. As you can see from this poster right here, Dottie has always done our warm-ups and stretches every year. We have an awesome time with that. I don't think she's going to be able to join us this year, but we have a couple of people that's going to be able to help us and just get us, loosen up and ready to go, ready to roll.
Absolutely.
It's about 2.3 mile walk.
Okay. All right.
Around Vernon Woods. But it's like Lindsay had said, it's an easy pace. You know, you don't have to. I mean, you can run if you want to. You know, if you pass me while I'm out there, that's all well and fine.
Well, I know I see you at the gym on the stair step, so you may be running yourself, right?
No, that's because my knees are bad.
Okay. All right then. Then you just brought up another point. You mentioned Dottie here, warming people up.
Yeah.
And I know anytime you have a successful event, there's always volunteers. And I failed to ask Lindsay this question earlier. Are there volunteers needed for this event?
Sure.
How can they get in? How can they get involved?
I mean, they can call me if they want. They can call Lindsay at the number that she gave us. They can call the Alzheimer's Association. However people want to get in touch with them. My number is 706-302-1717.
Okay.
And if there's anything that anybody wants to do, by all means, yeah, we can put you somewhere. Handing out waters or selling chicken biscuits. You know, there's a number of things that help with setup, anything.
Okay. Well, very good. You know, it's always good when you have an event like this because the community in Norman's always comes out and support very, very well these events. Now, and I want to kind of transition just a little bit, Josh, if you don't mind, because I know that this is an exciting time, but there's some other things that you all do there at your facility to kind of help people in situations. Talk a little bit about some of your advanced care, if you don't mind.
Okay. We are doing, through West Georgia Hospice, we are doing advanced care planning workshops.
Okay.
And I was going to say that we've worked very closely with Alzheimer's Association for home health and hospice. Because if people call them and they start talking about, you know, their mom is having, you know, issues, behavioral issues, and they need a little bit more care, that's more skilled care, things like that, then David Marlowe is their community outreach director. He will get in touch with, you know, different home healths and set up a plan for them. Just yesterday I had a call from him about you know, it's a son that was calling in asking about his mom and how many issues that she's had. And so we're working very closely with them, and in the same sense, we're referring patients to Alzheimer's Association, because when home health gets out there and they're asking, are you in touch with the Alzheimer's Association, they'll get in touch with them. And one of the things our social worker does for home health is when they go in, they talk about advanced directives.
Okay.
And that's setting up a game plan. If you're unable to speak for yourself, you know, what do you want to say? So if you've reached a point with your Alzheimer's where you're not really you anymore, you know, medically speaking, if you were, you know, had an issue where all of a sudden you needed life support, you know, what do you want to happen? What is the time frame of what you would like, you know, to go on? And that's what an advanced directive is setting up. It's answering those questions of, you know, if you were in a car accident, you know, do you want to be on a ventilator? Do you want to have intubation? Do you want to have, like, it answers all those questions. And so with advanced care planning workshops, that's kind of what we're coming from. Speaking with, we've got Vernon Woods, all the senior centers in our area. We have all these dates scheduled out to do these workshops. And it's just speaking with people about, you know, end of life. And it's bringing up those subjects that a lot of times people don't want to talk about.
Hard to talk about, right?
But necessary.
Right, absolutely.
Because you have, when I always use mom, when mom goes into the hospital, she does not have an advanced directive. And this sister has been taking care of her for the past, you know, 5 years with Alzheimer's. And she's been the sole supporter caregiver. And then, you know, all of a sudden, Betty Sue comes from Chicago, hasn't seen mom in 2 years, but comes down and she has exact, you know, say in what this daughter has.
That's right.
And without an advanced directive, they're having to answer those questions together. And that creates a lot of tension. So by having an advanced directive already set up, it just kind of goes ahead and says, this is what I want. Right. All right, guys?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Now, you have a battery of workshops that will be scheduled throughout the course of time, and I guess people can go to your website to know when those dates and locations are going to be held?
Yes, wghealth.org. It's a WellStar website now, but we have our advanced directives on the website there, scrolling through. So, The next one coming up, July 19th at Vernon Woods from 1 to 2:30. And then we have one in Hamilton Senior Center from 10 to 11:30, July 20th.
Okay.
And then July 31st, Fountain Baptist Church, 6 to 7:30 p.m.
All right. Well, very good. Well, Josh, it's a pleasure to always sit down with you and talk about a subject. As Lindsay and I stated earlier a moment ago, we definitely want to find a cure and eradicate this in our community very much. So thank you for coming on the show today and sharing information.
Let's not go so far without seeing each other.
Absolutely.
Again, all right?
It's a plan. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Josh. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining for City Week this week. My guests have been the Walk Director for Alzheimer's Walk 2016, Lindsay Richard, and also had on from WellStar, Josh O'Neill, as they gave some early symptoms and signs of dementia and Alzheimer's, and also talked about the walk coming up on Saturday, September the 17th, 2016 at Vernon Woods. So ladies and gentlemen, come out and support this very worthwhile cause in our community. I hope that you've enjoyed these interviews, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.